on Deckson Eagle tank, brand new transfers on it. Colour's not identical, but it's pretty close just from mixing it up out of rubbish I've had in the cupboard. I'm quite happy with it. You know, if it really annoys me later, I'll change it, but it's only that little section, so it doesn't have to be identical. I'm pretty happy with the way that tank's come out. It looks good. Here's the other side. See what a tank always makes a bike. You got a good tank on a bike, it makes it look good. Going along nicely. It's way better than that pile of rubbish that was sitting up in the attic there for 40 years and moved from farm to house to wherever. I've just dragged it around, saved it from going to the tip 10 times. Anyway, it's probably the best one of these on earth now. It will be soon. What I'm shoving on at the moment is this. That goes on there. I've got the original one. I've just decided to keep that. I'm going to put this one on. It's a repo thing. I just want to keep the original one. It's in good condition and I just want to hang on to it. So I'm just going to boil some water and it'll help that go on. There's that little cradle installed. Now I can put on the air cleaner. I've got a brand new one. That's the original part, that, which I've hung on to for years. Luckily, because you cannot get that. You can buy that if you know where to look. You cannot get that. So I'm lucky I've got that. Anyway, next thing goes on that, and then this spring holds it on, which I was able to buy in America, that spring. Must admit, that takes me back to when I was a kid. It was hard to install. It's still hard to install. But I managed to get it on. They're always a real prick of a thing to get on those, but yeah. If you put this rubber on first, it seems to be the trick. Put that on the carby, then you can get that on. Otherwise, they're very hard to get on. And that's, I don't know, it's offset. So you've got to have that down to the high bit to the top. Anyway, another part on. I'll flick the bike around and time to install the Kickstarter. Kickstarter's on. From memory, that tucked up in under there, but no, it doesn't seem to want to do that, so it must be like that. Of course, these shocks are wider. The exhaust's out a little bit further. So, I'm not sure. Anyway, I can play with that later. Let's get in there. I'll put the seat on last, really, because I've got to do the wiring and stuff for the tail light. Originally, this bike got headlights, tail lights, and blinkers. I don't know if it's going to be getting blinkers, but it'll be getting a tail light, and I've got a headlight. Yeah, I might put blinkers on it. What I'm doing with this now is I'm going to put the fuel cap on, fuel tap thing, and a little pipe underneath so it's sealed. I'm going to pour vinegar in there and bicarb soda to just got a little bit of rusty shit in there. I want to clean it. Apparently that's how you do it. Well, it's one way anyway. I saw it on the internet. And you leave it for 24 hours and see how it looks. I'm going to try it. The layer of chrome is preventing this from going in. It's part of the steering, whatever they call that thing. So I'm just going to turn it down with this so it fits in better. Doesn't need much, just take a bit off it and see how it looks. Wouldn't fit in there, no matter what I tried. I'll have to put something there to protect it. Right, in that bit, didn't really want to go in there. Anyway, it's on there now, so move on. Start assembling the bearings. They've got separate ball bearings, these old things, like an old push bike. So you load them, you put grease there, that holds them in position. Jam or grease up in there, and you slide that up in there. And I'll get the top one ready, the same way. And then that'll just all hold it in place. Is that all done? I've got this thing loaded. ready to go. That just bolts up there and you slide the forks through it. It's got all the original nuts and washers and shit there ready to go. And then you just slide the forks on. I'm just going to leave that off because I had to shorten these bolts, and I've just painted some clear on the end of them. I'm just going to leave that like that to dry for a while. Yeah, I'm just going to go over there and empty that crap out of that tank and call it a day. I've got some special liner stuff coming for that, so it's a 3-part thing. You've got to clean it out, then you've got to put this rust stuff in it, and then you put the liner on. It takes a few hours to get it all done. Look at the crap that come out of that. That's just the first go. A lot of it just got tipped out too when I tipped out the stuff, but definitely gets a lot of it out. Well worth doing. Yep, that stuff installed. Looks alright. Looks good actually, I should say. So tomorrow I'll put the forks on. I might move this bike off this lift here and put the little bike on there. It's starting to come up to the time to get wheels and stuff on it. I'll think about that tomorrow anyway. I'll put this brake on tomorrow. I'll put the forks on. I'm just waiting for that tank liner stuff to come now. I'll put the tank on. I'll probably try and start it tomorrow. I've got a little umbilical thing I can set up here for some fuel. Just rig up something here for a throttle. We'll see if she's going to fire. Anyway, we'll see. I've got this brake lever on. It's supposed to be an easy job, but nothing easy about that at all. Nothing. Anyway, it's on. Just the thing, trouble with these mini bikes, they get smashed, everything's bent. It's fixed now. But, it just clears the frame, that. It clears it by about, I don't know, 4 mil, which is all it needs. It's probably the way it was. But man, that was hard to get together. Pain in the neck. Another thing, this paint here, I don't know if you can buy that around the world, but that's junk. I painted the headlight brackets with it, and plus I've also painted that with it. And then I wasn't quite happy with the finish of the headlight bracket, so I went give it another coat. It all fried. Just fried straight up, putting this straight back over it, so I won't be buying that again. I'll just go back to buying Dulux. So I had to mix up bloody spray putty and shit and do it through a spray gun. Now I got it all puttied, and I'll paint it black tomorrow, those bits. I was going to put these forks on today. Anyway, it's tank sealer kit. And it's got a few different stages in it. There's 3 stages currently. I'll go through it and read the instructions. Make sure I do it all properly. I'm not doing it today because it takes a few hours to do it. Anyway, I'll do it tomorrow. I don't have time to do it now. There's all the stuff in there. And this is the stuff that you pour into the tank. It's just like thick paint, really. Anyway, I'll try that tomorrow. This is the first step. You've got to 1-to-1 that with hot water. So I'm going to tip that in there. That's, what is that, a litre? Yeah, 1 litre. Now I've got to tip a litre of hot water. You put it in there, in the tank. And you just got to keep rotating the tank for 24 hours. As much as you can. I'm not going to come down at 3 AM and do it. But, seems like a bit of a job, but whatever. I want to do it. So, I'll give it a try. Well, that's in, so I've just got to keep shaking it as much as I can over the next 24 hours, and drain it out, strain it, see how it looks. I may have to do it twice. They recommend doing it twice. Right, yeah, I haven't really filmed much of this, but this is the process of putting this stuff in the tank. Put that stuff in, it cleans it all, and then that stays in 24 hours. You've got to just keep shaking it as often as you can. So I took that up to the house and did it even in the middle of the night 4 or 5 times. Right, then you tip that out, rinse it out with water. You can reuse it. So I've kept that. If I put it in here, in that thing there, because you've got to add water to it. Then you put this in it, which is in there now. And I've got to rotate that every 5 minutes, which I'll do just right now. I'm also trying not to get that onto the paint that I've just painted. I don't really want to have to repaint it, but it's supposed to be friendly on paint, so we'll see. I did put a bit here, it didn't do anything to it. Anyway, I've got to do that 3 or 4, no more than 20 minutes, so 4 times you've got to rotate it. Then tip it out, flush it out with warm water, then dry it completely out, and then this stuff goes in it, which is just like thick paint. And like that's really for a 20 litre tank, so this one's only probably not even 10. So I don't know if I'll stick all of it in there. It's probably just a waste. Yep. Ages. Anyway, it's all done. All the steps are done. I've got the sealer in there. I don't want it to all drain and lock up these holes, so I want it to drain down that way. And I've got most of the excess out anyway, so it's pretty good. I'm going to leave that now. You've got to let that dry for 3 days. There's the tank all finished. Give it a bit of a hand polish. Just painted that stripe bit there. But I've also put, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, the whole thing's been cleaned 100 times and it's got this stuff in it. It dries really hard, so you can store it without fuel in it and it doesn't rust. Those CAD parts cleaned up. I'll clean this one, show you the difference. It's it cleaned up. Just do it on the wire wheel over there. Where I'm at with the little bike, I've put a headlight on it. Donated by Pete's Headlight Services. 6 volt. Got forks on, clamps, all this stuff. Original bolts, nuts, or whatever. Original bolts and washers, all chromed. Tank, all lined, ready to go. I've got to wait 96 hours for it to put fuel in that. So I've probably got a couple more days, whatever that adds up to. Alright, that's it. Starting to look like a bike. Got the handlebars there, I've got the controls brand new with all the switches and everything on it. And I'm going to have to move it off the bench before I put the handlebars on it or I'll hit the wall. The wheels, got to hand cut every spoke. I couldn't go the spokes for this bike, so I bought some in the same shape, but they're too long. And yeah, I've got to thread them somehow. They're a weird thread. I'm not buying a spoke threading machine. It cost me about $400 or $500, and I'm not spending that sort of money just to do this. So I'll figure something out. I've got a tap that fits the old spokes, but the newer ones that I've bought, they're a weird size. Anyway, he's ready to start. I've just got to be careful. I don't want to try and... It's got a lot of compression, this bike. It's only 80cc, but I've got to push that down with my hand unless I can get up on it and kick it. But I'll start it probably next video. Anyway, I'll just whack this on a video and show you where I'm at with it. I'm pretty happy with the thing actually. It's really starting to look like something. Could end up going into a bike museum, this bike. Alright, thanks.